Hello, 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 hello. How are you guys doing? Today in this video, I'm going to be reading over. I actually did not watch the Summer Summit yesterday so that I could read everything that's coming out with you guys and, share the hype with you all. So in the corner, I'm going to be playing some AFK gameplay that I have pre-recorded of just me training like agility, fishing, all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to go ahead and start reading, and for you to just sit back, relax. You can fall asleep. You can just listen to this in the background if you wish, but let's go ahead. I'm very, very excited to read about what was talked about during the 2024 Winter Summit. So let's just go ahead. Our 2024 Winter Summit is over, and this is the place to be for all highlights from the biggest stream of the season. In this post, you'll find all the latest information about all the major reveals and more we showcased on the summit, including while Gothic sleeps, updates to our official client, and the next steps for sailing, including details on the very first playable alpha. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of our announcements, here's a look at the roadmap and what you can expect in the very first half of 2024. While Gothic sleeps, one cold winter morning in 2008, escapers awoke to a brand new quest. It was a richly immersive, sprawling adventure featuring a thrilling cast of murderers, spies, and druids, plus the return of a rarely encountered Majorat. It would soon become one of the most iconic RuneScape quests of all time. Do you remember your first encounter with While Gothic Sleeps? While Gothic Sleeps will be another quest in the Majorat storyline, accompanying the likes of Desert Treasure 2 and Defender of Varrock. This is by far the most requested story you've asked for, so we're excited to do it justice. While Gothic Sleeps will send you on an epic journey in search of one of the most powerful artifacts in existence, if you can stop a deadly Majorat from obtaining it first. It makes sense because it's in RS3 but not in old school. This new quest will be a remake of the 2008 original. This means that although the back-ported quest has been used as a starting point, we are adding extensive enhancements and bringing it in line with our long-term story plans. We've also added a selection of exciting new rewards to match our other Grandmaster quests. Defender of Varrock. Long, long ago, the hero Arav shielded Varrock against the undead armies of the Majorat Zemregal. His bravery secured the city's future for centuries to come, but at a terrible price. As Zemregal retreated, he made Arav a promise that when he returned, he would make Arav his champion and use Varrock's hero against them. This chilling prophecy foretells doom and destruction for the people of Varrock. There are fearful whispers on the streets, tales of the dead rising from their graves. Could the prophecy be true? And if it is, who's going to save the city this time? It's time for you to take up arms and become the Defender of Varrock. This classic quest in the Majorat storyline has been backported all the way from 2008. While most of the quest remains exactly as you remember, we've added a little old school spice and brought it up to our modern standards. Don't worry, we're not cruel enough to make you start it in the wilderness. Varlamore, the Shining Kingdom. I'm excited for this one. The Shining Kingdom will open to visitors on March 20th. Check out this overview blog for everything you need to know. If you haven't yet completed the recent Children of the Sun quest, we highly recommend doing so before Varlamore launches. As the first part of the Varlamore quest series, it introduces all the major players and gets you access to the kingdom itself. Once you're finally standing on Varlamore's shining shores, you can look forward to content like the Fortis Colosseum, the Perilous Moons minigame, the Hunter Guild, and much, much more. For a sneak peek, check out the Varlamore Dev Diary. When Varlamore launches, you'll be able to explore Civitas Illifortis and the vast Avium Savannah. But we're not stopping there. We're already planning the second part of Varlamore, which will focus on two main areas: the luxurious island of Alderin and the inhospitable mountain range north of the Civitas Illifortis. Headline content includes a new herb lore activity on Eldarin and a new group boss in the mountains. Just as with the first batch, you'll also see plenty of new quests and smaller activities, as well as updates to existing content. Sailing. Anchors are well away on our first new skill. We're finally ready to show off all of our progress so far and give you a glimpse of what's waiting on the horizon in 2024. A new skill is always a massive undertaking, and sailing also includes a whole new area of the map to explore. So we've been busy behind the scenes discussing timelines, resources, and other factors that impact development. At the Winter Summit, we've showed off the Sailing Development Roadmap, which you can view in the full Sailing What's Next news post. It includes a step-by-step breakdown of each big milestone on our journey and what we plan to do in the immediate future. I'll probably read that afterwards, because I think this is like just an overview and then each one has its own particular news post, so I'll be reading all of it in this video. The future of the official client. Thanks to the hard work of our teams, the official old school RuneScape client is better than ever. Over the last few years, we've added all kinds of quality of life features, but we reckon we can still go bigger. That's why 2024 will see 2 major client updates that will enable an even better gameplay experience. First up, we're adding an official HD mode, complete with fully dynamic lighting, sunlight effects, and fog. Don't worry, if you prefer the classic look, SD mode will keep old school RuneScape looking just the way it does now. You'll be able to switch between HD and SD modes at will, even on mobile. If you thought that was exciting, this next bit of news is really going to blow your socks off. We are adding an official client plugin API, whatever that means. Some of you will already be familiar with RuneLite's plugin library, a selection of helpful add-ons that expand players' gameplay options. With the upcoming plugin API and plugin hub, you'll be able to use plugins on the official client too, and even create your own. This means that mobile users will have access to plugins for the first time in old school RuneScape history. With this update, switching from PC to mobile will be even easier than ever, and you'll have all your favorite little helpers lined up and ready to go no matter where you are. That's actually really cool. That's really cool. Low-level wilderness hotspot, Deadman 2024, and more. You may not be starting any quests in the wilderness, but we will be hopping over the ditch for this next update. In recent years, wilderness PvP has favored level 20 to 40 areas, which means that the likes of Zerkers and Pures are struggling to find a cozy spot to call home. 2024's first PvP update looks to remedy this problem by breathing new life into the iconic low-level location. The Chaos Temple will become a hotspot where players can make some cash, score some PvP-focused loot, and fight with players around their combat level. You see, the Chaos Temple has become a lot more chaotic. Undead pirates have descended upon the area and are locked in fierce battle against the Elder Chaos Druids. It is a multi-combat mosh pit. With the pirates vying to get the edge on their newfound enemies, and the Chaos Druids continuing to teleport folks all over the place, you'll need to keep your wits about you if you plan to survive the battle. Take out the pirates, and you'll be rewarded with some wilderness-oriented uniques, Chivalry Prayer Scrolls, Adamant Seeds, and blip-blocking scrolls that block the Chaos Druids' pesky teleporting abilities. This loot should be fairly consistent, allowing players to amass wealth and risk over time. Ready to make a fast exit? Watch out! Chaos Druids have developed tele-blocking powers, so you'll need to keep an eye out for danger and plan your escape carefully. We're super excited to build on everything we've learned from last year's PvP improvements, and can't wait to carry into that energy into 2024. Yes, that may well mean the return of a certain game mode, so keep your eyes peeled for more news on that front. Quality of life and holiday events. Still with us? Let's take a look and learn about the future of holiday events. Holiday events are one of our favorite things about old school RuneScape, and 2024 we'll see plenty of festivities for you to enjoy. This year, you can expect to see events for Easter, Pride, Halloween, and Christmas. However, there's one regular event missing from that list. We've made the tough decision not to include an in-game event for our birthday this year, and instead reserve special events like this for our milestone years. That said, nobody wants their birthday to go completely unnoticed, so we'll still be decorating the Falador party room for the occasion. You'll also still be able to claim any previous year's birthday rewards. Who knows, we may find time to squeeze in a special surprise or two. The upside of this change means that the team has more time to spend on quality of life updates that will improve the long-term health of the game. For example, we're still working on a few changes from Poll 80, which will be making their way to the game soon. We're already generating ideas for Poll 81, so keep your eyes peeled for more news. These are so cute. I'm guessing this is Vorkath, Elvarg, and KBD. So you can buy these dragon plushies. You can get a RuneScape Kingdoms board game. Not my kind of thing, but that's cool. LED lights. And here are some questions about like a poll for this upcoming things, I guess. So now I'm going to go back to the main page and I'm going to click on Varlamore Part 1 Overview. It's not long now until Varlamore opens its doors to intrepid explorers from all over Gielinor on March 20th. We've shared a lot with you regarding Varlamore over the last few months, and you've shared a whole lot back with us. This post will be your one-stop shop to get yourself up to speed and remind yourself of everything that's entering the game as part of Varlamore's first batch of content, from new boss encounters to new rewards, all the way up to never-before-seen skilling activities. You won't find any new information here, so if you're already caught up, then carry on with your day. If you're looking for a refresher, or you've been AFK for a couple of weeks, then grab your reading glasses and settle in. There's everything you need to know about Old School's biggest ever area expansion. If reading's not your thing, check out the dev diary below to learn everything you need to know, or click here to watch it on YouTube. There is no hyperlink there. Varlamore Part 1 Key Content Updates. Old School's next area expansion will take you to the shining kingdom of Varlamore and open up a new region south of Korund and Kebos. We're not just offering a new region jam-packed with delightful content, we're offering answers to some of Old School RuneScape's biggest questions. Whether you're a lorehound, an avid PVMer, or a super skiller, Varlamore has something for you. A new dawn. Let's take a look at where you will start your journey into Valamore, in the heart of the kingdom. Ooh. This is the church. A farming thing, a hunter's guild, colossal worm. This is the savannah, an oasis, coliseum, and then the town. A big port. There's a park, a prison, a sword shop, cooking, a kebab store, jewelry, tanner. I don't remember what that one is. A gem store, a silk trader, crafting shop, one bank, two bank, fancy dress shop, a spinning wheel, a bar, an apothecary. Interesting. Okay. That's right, the first part of the Varlamore area expansion will let you explore the capital itself, Civitas Illifortis. This bustling city is a hub for trade, transport, and feats of bravery, as well as the Queen Zayani herself and her loyal Kowalti guards. Beyond the city's walls lies the Avium Savannah, a thriving landscape filled with creatures and critters you won't find anywhere else. Our last stop is the ancient dwarven town of Cam Torum, built deep into the stony face of Ralos Rise. So there's dwarves there. Okay. Quests. There's no better way to make an area feel alive than with a good old chunk of lore. quests in Valamor will give you ample opportunity to explore the region's history, mythos, and culture over the course of a new storyline that will conclude with the final part of the release. This won't be an epic multi-year questline like the Elves or the Majoran, but a punchy introduction to the land of Varlamore and its people. Don't worry though, there's hundreds upon thousands of years of lore to get stuck into. In the first release, you'll be able to get stuck into 2 quests. One has already been released, so make sure to go and complete Children of the Sun if you haven't already. It's a quick to complete novice level quest which will be required for access to Varlamore. Look for Noah or Alina in Virok Square to see what all the fuss is about. A second quest will continue the story as soon as you access the city of Civitas Illifortis. This will be an intermediate quest with appropriate rewards that will help you build a better understanding of the region's story to give you a firm footing as soon as you arrive. Let's talk violence. Fortis Coliseum. Note, this section is a top-level overview of what to expect with the Coliseum. For a more detailed look, you can check out these following blogs. On Varlamore's southeastern shores sits the crown jewel and capital city, Civitas Illifortis. This shining city has many claims to fame, but towering above them all is the city's defining feature, the Coliseum. This epic arena is the setting for a new, wave-based PvM minigame. The Fortis Coliseum will pit the bravest amongst you against an onslaught of increasingly complex waves of enemies. It sounds like Rush of Blood on RS3. Those of you who own a fire cape should be able to get your feet wet in the early rounds, but as the waves progress, you can expect combinations of enemies that will test the skills of even the most seasoned combatants. Unlike other wave-based minigames, as the difficulty increases, so too do the stakes. After each wave, you will be offered a choice. Swallow your pride and leave with the loot, or risk it all on the next battle. You're here to put on a show after all. We want the Fortis Coliseum to feel less like a one-and-done milestone and more like something you're excited to improve at over time. Some randomizing of enemy spawn locations and even slight variations on the enemies you'll encounter ensure that there is plenty of variety, but there's something else that keeps the crowd screaming for more. You see, no 2 Coliseum runs will be the same. Between waves, you'll be asked to choose between a number of modifiers that will swing the odds against you and empower your opponents. If you plan to go all the way, you'll need to juggle the increasingly tricky waves and your chosen modifiers, though trickier modifiers often result in greater glory gains. You can expect to find yourself handsomely rewarded for your crowd-pleasing deeds. Each higher waves offer greater loot with the opportunity to earn some unique rewards for especially impressive performances. We don't have specifics in mind just yet, but as always, we're keen to hear your suggestions. Fortis Coliseum rewards. What's the worth of all that bloodshed, if not a lovely little trinket or two to take home at the end of it? Dazana's Quiver is an untradeable, chargeable, and corruptible cape slot offering, boasting higher offensive bonuses than Ava's Assembler, and a particularly unique effect, which allows it to hold at least 2 types of ammo, automatically selecting whichever applies to your current weapon. You'll be able to earn one of these by making it all the way to the end of a Coliseum run. When charged, ammo fired from the quiver, meaning bolts and arrows exclusively, will gain an additional +1 ranged strength and +10 ranged accuracy. These charged numbers are indicated in brackets in the stat image below. Glaive of Ralos. For starters, we're talking about throwing glaives, not those great big spear polearm thingies, although one of those might prove super cool. The Glaive of Ralos is a one-handed, rechargeable thrown weapon in a brand new weapon category, which bounces back to hit you after each hit. Handy. Uncharged, you'll throw it out, hit your enemy for between 0 to 75% of your maximum hit, and have the glaive return to your hand. Infinite ammo sounds neat, but only 75% damage. What gives? When charged, this groovy glaive really comes into its own. Its sharp edges will slice and dice for 2 hit splats. Each splat rolls its own accuracy and damage, where the damage rolls between 0 and 75% of your maximum hit. Not bad, but there's more. As fun as the thematics are, we've got a cherry on top to make sure that your time spent obtaining one of these bad boys is worthwhile. It's special attack. For 50% special attack energy, successful hit splats will drain the target's defense level by 10% of their magic level. So, you throw it, it does 75% damage, it comes back, does 75%, up to 75% of your maximum hit, and then you have it, and then you throw it again. So for infinite ammo, I mean, that sounds really good. It's only when it's charged. If it's not charged, then that doesn't happen. Both the special effect and the special attack. Sunfire Fanatic Armor. Between the Glaive of Ralos, Echo Crystal, and Sunfire runes, more on those in just a moment, a lot of what's on offer is a little more involved than simple bigger number approaches to rewards. That said, sometimes it's nice to keep things simple, and we've got just the thing. Sunfire Fanatic Armor is effectively proselyte armor with bigger numbers. That's it, the whole pitch. Seriously though, proselyte has been the go-to prayer bonus gear since 2006, and spilling blood to sustain an enigmatic sun god in an ancient coliseum feels like a fitting spot to earn some gear that brings you a little closer to the divine. Each piece of the tradable Sunfire Fanatic set requires 60 prayer and 40 defense, and will be dropped individually, with each piece boasting +2 prayer bonus over its proselyte equivalent, plus similar defensive bonuses to rune armor. Sunfire Splinters. You'll receive Sunfire Splinters in bulk pretty regularly throughout your Coliseum runs. Similar to the Phantom Muspa's ancient essence, Sunfire Dust lets you charge or otherwise interact with various other items, making it a consistent source of profit for anybody taking on the Coliseum challenge. You already know that you can use Sunfire Splinters to charge the Glaive of Ralos and Dizana's Quiver, but you'll also be able to use it to craft Sunfire runes. Sunfire runes are a brand new rune that can take a slightly different approach to the Wrath rune formula. You'll make these by combining Sunfire Splinters with Rune Essence, Pure or Dayalt to taste, and regular fire runes at the new Sunfire Altar found in Varlamore. The Sunfire Altar is visually distinct from the rune altars you're used to, and reflects the unique way Varlamorians and players alike will interact with it. Lastly, the number of Sunfire runes crafted per essence will scale with your runecraft level, in much the same way as crafting multiple runes at once does currently. Just like lava runes, Sunfire runes will count as fire runes when casting spells, but whenever you consume one, that spell will gain a 10% minimum hit. As a brief note, we anticipate that hovering over a fire spell with any Sunfire runes in your inventory would clearly show that you'd be using Sunfire runes as opposed to boring old fire runes. But additionally, you'll be able to combine Sunfire runes or dust with burnt pages to make searing pages, which would allow the Tome of Fire to provide an additional 10% minimum hit that Sunfire runes offer on their own. Interesting. We hope that this boost will breathe new life into fire spells offered in the standard spellbook, especially in conjunction with weapons like the Harmonized Nightmare Staff. Again, we're thinking that the added damage consistency will help make those underloved options more attractive. Bigger isn't always better, you know. A grand coliseum filled with never-before-seen enemies, epic loot, and the screams, cheers, and gasps of adrenaline-fueled spectators. Are you not entertained? Now let's dig deep and take a look at Perilous Moons, a quest to unlock a brand new mid-level dungeon accessible via the dwarven town of Camtorum. Perilous Moons. This section is a top-level overview of what to expect with Perilous Moons. For a more detailed look, you can check out the following blogs. Beneath the steep and jagged cliffs of Ralos' Rise sits the dwarven town of Camtorum. Its strong fortifications have kept it safe through all of Varlamore history, but now the inhabitants face a new challenge. Lurking below the surface is an ancient temple, built to contain powerful entities. Now the earth has been disturbed, and the dwarves need your help to keep these strange beings contained. The quest will reveal a new chunk of PvM content aimed at mid-level players. The dungeon holds 3 deadly demi-bosses. Defeat them, and you'll re-emerge with some exciting new loot. If you can't tell, this encounter is heavily inspired by the iconic Barrows Brothers, a mid-level combat staple. Unlike Barrows, however, this activity focuses on discovery and exploration. We want you to feel like you're progressing through the dungeon in a meaningful way, learning more about Barlamore's ancient history as you go. We recommend tackling the dungeon with combats at level 75 or more. I have that. Down in the depths, defense is key, so you'll want to prepare carefully before heading in. Now that you know what you're in for, let's take a closer look. Down in the dungeon. Every trip to the temple begins in the central room, which expands outwards along 4 ominously long corridors. Each of these leads to a different area of the dungeon, with different elements and opportunities to explore. However, only one corridor will be open to you each time you enter, meaning that every encounter begins slightly different to the ones before it, just like Barrows. Once you've explored the starting corridor, you're free to move around and tackle the bosses in any way you like, although taking on the one closest to your starting location will obviously save you quite a bit of time. So each room in the temple contains enemies to fight, shortcuts to cross, and opportunities to flex your skilling muscles. Although the temple has seemingly been abandoned for many centuries, you will have the opportunity to acquire food and prayer restoration items that will help you achieve your goal. Please note that nothing you acquire inside can leave the temple again. They're just there to help you restock between fights. Of course, you're also free to bring your own supplies, although you'll find that making use of the dungeon's resources is faster than trekking to the nearest bank. Resources aren't the only thing you'll find in the temple's depths. You'll also encounter some nasty foes to fight. They'll drop useful stuff like bones and herbs, and of course, you'll also receive XP for defeating them. Base camps around the dungeon will let you store and retrieve tools for hunter, fishing, and other gathering skills, so you'll always have the ability to gather those precious resources when you need them. After spending some time exploring the dungeon and shoring up your supplies, it's time to face the demi-bosses. And they look really cool, the silhouettes. It doesn't matter which demi-boss you tackle first, as your chance of loot is only affected by how many of them you defeat. Subdue all 3 and you'll have the best loot in the bag. Unlike the Barrows Brothers, these demi-bosses can be fought by multiple players at the same time. Without dropping any spoilers, these powerful entities cannot be killed. Your job is to distract them to ensure they remain contained within the temple. To this end, we're doing things a little differently. Instead of having one big health bar that you and your companions are working to deplete, every player involved will have their own individual health bar. Ooh. This means that other players' participation or lack thereof won't affect your reward potential. Go solo or bring your friends, either way you'll get your just reward. However, this also means that the bosses will attack you all as a collective, using the environment around them to damage players en masse. You'll need to stay alert to avoid taking damage. Each of these bosses also provides an opportunity to learn and practice key mechanics you'll need to master to face more challenging foes later on in your adventuring career. It's a great way for new players to familiarize themselves with some of the tougher elements of PvM. Obviously, we also plan to include never-before-seen mechanics to keep you on your toes, but discussing them here would spoil the surprise. It's exciting! As we mentioned above, defense is a keystone of this content. Most gear, especially in the late game, focuses on offensive bonuses, with the notable exception of Justiciars. Mid-game gear, however, tends towards more defensive bonuses, and that's what we want to encourage here. The bosses share a mechanic which highlights the importance of defense, and each individual boss also has their own way of lowering your DPS when you take damage. Each boss's basic attack will hit 3 times, and each hit is harder than the last. However, should any one of those attacks miss, the others will miss as well. This means that to preserve your DPS, you'll need to have a strong defense. After you've subdued one demi-boss, it's up to you whether you want to tackle the remaining 2 or go straight for the loot. Again, if you want to snatch those uniques, you'll want to distract all 3 bosses, but if you're not feeling up to it, you can always tap out early. Now let's have a look at the uniques in detail. So we have a Blood Rager set. It comes with armor and 2 weapons. I didn't know that old school had offhand weapon, that it was like shields and main hands. The Frost Moon, I'm guessing that is mage. Looks like a staff and like ice armor. And then the Eclipse set, which looks like ranged, like a pharaoh type of thing. Looks really cool. If you have not seen these armor sets before, prepare yourself for some seriously experimental stuff. Now it's time to turn our eyes to the skies and bask in the glow of the blood moon. So the melee one is 70 attack, 75 strength, and it is dual weapons. The special attack is to sacrifice 10% of your current hit points to raise your min and max hit by 25%. If it hits, it has a 100% chance to trigger Bloodthirst. Now Bloodthirst is a special effect, which is on a successful hit, 33% chance that this weapon's next attack will happen 1 tick sooner. Ooh, so it's faster. The helmet, the chestplate, and the tassets. 50 defense, 75 strength. When using the dual Makuahultil, you have a 33% chance for the next attack to happen 1 tick sooner. And that's the set effect. So you have to be wearing the full armor to use the special effect from your special attack. Drawing power from the angriest phase of the moon, Blood Rager set evokes memories of ancient bloodthirst in the wearer, causing them to rip and tear through low defense targets in a devastatingly ferocious assault. The dual weapons has a speedy attack rate of 4 ticks, and get this, they hit twice. They also come with a special attack, allowing you to sacrifice 10% of your current hit points to raise your maximum and minimum hit by 25% for that attack. At just 25% energy cost, this might seem like a no-brainer, but watch out. Use it too many times in a row and you'll find yourself low on HP. Why yeah, because it uses 10% of your hit points. Wearing the full set will also earn you a nifty set effect. 33% chance, we already read that. Okay, for lower defense foes, this set is a game changer, although they become less effective against higher defense enemies. Now the Frost Moon set, 75 magic, 70 attack. Special attack. On a successful hit, increase your accuracy and damage by 1% for every tick remaining on the binding effect. Afterwards, the binding effect is removed. Special effects, which is for wearing the full set. You have a 10% chance for the next melee attack to not be affected by action delay. Feeling blue? Not for long. Frost Moon set focuses on both magic and melee and immobilizes enemies with the sheer cold of the Frost Moon. Its main benefit is strong magic accuracy compared to other mid-game sets, combined with defensive capabilities against both magic and crush styles. The real star of the set, however, is the Spell Spear, a melee weapon that hits significantly harder than your standard staff, while allowing you to auto-cast whatever spells you like. With a 5% increase to magic strength, you'll be freezing your enemies in their tracks and doing some serious damage. Frost Moon's armor set gives you a 10% chance for your next melee attack to go unaffected by any action delay, although this only affects attacks made with the Spell Spear. Put those dragon claws away. You'll deal even more damage with the Spell Spear's special attack, which increases your max hit by 1% for every tick remaining on a target inflicted with a binding effect. Once you've dealt your deadly blow, the binding effect will be removed. So choose your moment carefully before going in for the kill. So you cast Bind with your spell, and then you use a special attack. It will increase by 1% for every tick that they're bound. Okay. For example, if your target has 10 ticks remaining on their binding effect, hitting them with the Spell Spear's special attack will increase your max hit by 10%. The Eclipse set. 75 attack. The special attack is to consume the remaining burn damage, increase maximum hit by that much, and minimum hit by half as much. Special effect for the whole outfit is you have a 20% chance to burn a target. Burn deals 1 damage every 4 ticks for 40 ticks. Burn can be stacked for increased damage. Oh, okay, that makes more sense. So you have a 20% chance to burn the target, which deals 1 damage every 4 ticks for 40 ticks, so it's 10 damage total. And then the special attack, you can consume the remaining damage to increase your max hit by that much and your minimum hit by half. So the special effect goes off, then you use your special attack. You'll consume all 10 damage from the burn, but your max hit goes up by 10 and your min hit goes up by 5. Okay, interesting. That's basically what I'm understanding from that. The next stop in our celestial journey is to the all-consuming Maw of the Eclipse. This set combines the sharp sting of the arrow with up-close and personal melee carnage as you burn your foes and consume the fire to unleash a devastating flurry of flames. Like the Frost Moon gear, this is a hybrid set. The Eclipse combines great ranged accuracy and melee strength to create a deadly offense at the cost of its defensive abilities. The set includes the Eclipse Atlatl, a new ranged weapon with an attack speed of 4, 3 on rapid. What makes this weapon unique is that it rolls your damage off of your melee strength. The set effect gives the wearer a 20% chance to inflict burn, a new effect that causes the target to suffer 1 point of damage every 4 ticks for 40 ticks, a total of 10 base damage. However, the effect can be stacked up to 5 times to rack up even more damage over time. Atlatl's special attack costs 50% special attack energy and consumes any remaining burn damage on the target to increase your max hit by that number and your minimum hit by half of that number. While this is a massive boost, we've capped it at an additional 50 damage. We don't want you setting the world on fire. Let's get out of this dreary old dungeon and take a look at the far-reaching plains and savanna to be found in Varlamore, the perfect grounds for budding hunters. The vast lands of Avium Savanna are home to all manner of creatures, from the elegant sunlight antelope to the adorable jerboa. Those seeking the bounties of this rich land settle at the Hunters Guild, a purpose-built shelter nestled just outside Civitas Illifortis. Once you've reached 46 Hunter, you can follow the dirt roads from Civitas Illifortis into the heart of the Avium Savanna, where the guild's many amenities await you. Come, make your way down to the burrow, have yourself a trapper's tipple, and see that all that this ancient guild has to offer. Hunter's rumors. The hunters in the guild have heard whispers of creatures all across Gielinor that you'll be tasked with tracking down and hunting. These are like slayer tasks or farming contracts, and they may be the classic creatures you've come to know and love, or one of the many new critters found in Varlamore. You can only have one rumor active at one time. Just like the Slayer Masters you're familiar with, each hunter at the bar will have a different rumor, and they'll be suitable for different hunter levels. If you don't like the look of your current rumor, simply speak to another hunter, or if none of the rumors interest you, you can trade some of your spare creature parts for a low-tier hunt that will reset all of the available rumors. The rumors start at Tier 1 with 46 Hunter all the way up to Tier 4 at 91 Hunter. Once you've selected a rumor to investigate, set off and prepare to hunt. Your job is to grab a special, rare creature part to complete your rumor. These rare creature parts can be traded with the hunter you obtained the rumor from for a bonus XP drop and a loot sack of useful hunter goodies, like meats, furs, and bones. If you're lucky, you might also get some Varlamore-specific items that you can use in other activities around the area. Quetzal Whistle recharges, your very own Quetzal pet, or a chance to obtain the new Hunter Skilling outfit, which provides you with a 2.5% catch rate and a 5% increased chance to obtain a rare creature part while wearing the full set. Quetzal Transport Network. These beautiful, graceful birds are native to Varlamore, and the citizens there have worked alongside these majestic beasts for centuries. Their powerful wings are capable of carrying their companions to destinations across the continent, and the Hunter Guild maintains their own stable as one of the many amenities available. The guild members are issued a Quetzal Whistle, which allows them to swiftly fly back to the guild from anywhere in Gielinor, except the wilderness, of course. There are 3 tiers of Quetzal Whistle: Basic, Enhanced, made from yew, and Perfected, made from redwood. The basic Quetzal whistle can store up to 5 charges, the enhanced version up to 20, and the perfected version up to 50. After completing 5 rumors of any level, the Quetzal Master in the Roost will reward you with a basic whistle blueprint. You'll need this to obtain the blueprints for the enhanced and the perfected variants, which you'll receive as a random drop from completing rumors. You'll be spending lots of time with these beautiful birds as you travel the world, so we want to give you the option to customize the Quetzal that comes to pick you up. You'll also have a link to Varlamore via the Eagle's transport system once you unlock access from the guild. New creatures. Varlamore is home to all manner of creatures you've never seen before, and we can't wait for you to meet them. Just like butterflies, these creatures are trapped using a butterfly net in a jar, or your own hands with the right level, and allow you to bestow buffs on up to 3 random players in a 3x3 radius around you with one of the following effects. Sunlight Moth, 6 plus 20% of a player's reduced stats, as well as 8 hit points. Moonlight Moth, 5 plus 10% of the player's level in prayer points. You can also use these creatures in Hunter Mixes, a tradable 2-dose AoE potion that has the same effect as the moths. Not only do we want to extend this option to butterflies too, to give them a bit more utility, but we'd also like to change their mechanics to work just like moths. Antelope. Springy, agile, and fast, these 4-legged mammals can be found wandering the avium savanna and the Hunter Guild. Successfully hunting these creatures with a pitfall trap will provide you with meat and horns. These also have 2 variants, the Sunlight Antelope, which gives sunlight horns and sunlight meat, and the Moonlight Antelope, which give moonlight horns and moonlight meat. Sunlight horns can be used to upgrade the Hunter Crossbow into the Sunlight Hunter Crossbow, and bolts for the upgraded version, while the moonlight horns can be used to craft into stronger ammunition, specifically for the Sunlight Crossbow. More on that in a moment. Jerboa. Requiring 39 Hunter to catch with a box trap, you can craft their tails into Hunter Spears. Fennec Foxes. These particularly fluffy fellows can be caught in Varlamore using 57 Hunter and a baited deadfall trap. They drop fox fur, meat, and bones. Mountain Salamander. A new tier of salamander that can be caught with the usual net method. They require 79 Hunter to catch and use new Irit tar as ammunition, which will give an additional 60 ranged strength. You'll need 80 attack ranged magic to wield these feisty little fiends effectively. In order to make these fantastic friends fit for battle against other players, you'll need to take them to a member of the guild, which will train them up to be combat ready. If you die against another player with these, you'll need to revisit the member to get some less scaredy salamanders. The gourmets at the Hunter Guild have developed a cooking method that gives your typical boring meats a bit of extra flavor, and a delayed healing over time effect that gives you more HP than fish over a long period of time. If you're wondering, yes, you can still combo eat with these meats with items like Karambuan or Saradomin brews in conjunction with some tasty Hunter meats, and you'll get benefits of both. If you eat another piece of Hunter meat before you've received a second lot of healing, it will be overridden with the new Hunter meat and you won't receive the remainder of healing from the original. Some meats have a bit of extra flavor in the form of effects. Here's a breakdown of how some of the meats we've designed so far stack up to their fishy equivalents. This is probably just tentative, is probably not going to actually be this, but it's pretty good. There is one catch. In order to unlock this new method of cooking, you'll need to complete rumors and get the guild's residents to trust you with their favorite recipes. Here's how that shakes out. Access to Varlamore gives you the low-tiered meats, 25 rumors give you the mid-tier, and the 50 rumors give you the high tier. Fear not, the Hunter Guild also comes with fancy new equipment that will have you strutting your stuff all over the savannah. The mixed hide gear is a new set that requires 50 defense and 60 range to equip. We're also thinking the set should be made from a combination of relatively higher hunter furs like fox and antelopes. This set is a ranged melee hybrid that gives you a welcome defense advantage, while offering some significant strength-based ranged gains. In order to create this set, you'll need to speak to someone in the Hunter Guild and get it tanned to be combat ready before using it across the world. We've designed the set to match spiky van braces for an alternative mid-level option that focuses on both ranged attack and melee strength. Incidentally, it goes nice with the new weapon we're planning to introduce. These ranged weapons are unique because they roll their damage based on your melee strength, which the mixed hide gear insinuated. For those wondering, these would be consumable and would work with Ava's equipment line. To give you more utility from using this weapon in Hunter, they'll give you an increased chance to successfully tease creatures like Kiat, Gark, and Larupia by 5%. They'll also not consume any ammo when being used against Chinchampas. Improving existing content. Even with all this new and exciting stuff to try, Hunter could still use a little love. With that in mind, we've gone back to existing content and spiced it up a little. Hunter Crossbow. We want to breathe some life into this neglected weapon by allowing skilled hunters to upgrade it to the Hunter's Sunlight Crossbow, using sunlight horns from Sunlight Antelopes. I don't even know what the Hunter Crossbow is. The upgraded version will require 66 ranged and 50 hunter to use, and 74 clutching to craft. It comes with a plus 79 ranged accuracy along with remaining of 4 attack speed, 3 on rapid. It also lets you use new types of bolts crafted from Sunlight Antelope horns with a powerful plus 55 range strength bonus and Moonlight horns with a plus 60. Hunter pouches. Also don't know what that is. Alongside making furs and meats worth keeping in the first place, we'd also like to give you the option to craft hunter pouches, which will store up to 28 of these core hunting resources. The pouches work much like the rune pouches. You'll need the previous version to upgrade to the next. Larupia, Grok, and Fur. And Kayat. Meat sacks work similarly, but as the name suggests, only store meat. The Fennec meat pouch and the Antelope meat pouch. Hunter outfits. Aside from being pretty gnarly fashionscape, the hunter outfits made from Larupia, Grok, and Kiat fur are basically useless. We want to give them a purpose, a damage reduction bonus only against hunter creatures that applies when wearing the full set by 20%, 40%, and 60% respectively. Don't worry, we haven't forgotten the hunter camouflage gear. We're giving all the camouflage top and legs a weight reduction bonus for a more thematic lighter step, with all tops having a 3 kilogram weight reduction and all legs having a 2 kilogram weight reduction. Trap storage. To save you some time and run energy, we'd also like to introduce a form of trap storage, much like the tackle box for fishing, which would let you store all of your hunter tools ready for the next hunt. The trap storage would only be for traps. You'll need to bring your own knives, axes, etc. To put it simply, it will store everything created by the Lunar Spell Hunter Kit. Implings. Finally, you'll be able to catch implings barehanded without a jar, but when using a butterfly net, you'll need a butterfly jar. We would like to clarify this wouldn't replace using jars, but just give you a nice alternative. That's all from the Hunter Guild. While this is one of the bigger skilling hubs in the first batch of Valamore, there are some smaller areas you can utilize for some other skills. Smaller activities. The rich new environments we're creating will offer plenty of opportunities to skill, and today we're going to discuss agility, mining, prayer, and thieving. Colossal Worm. Note, the agility course will not be releasing on March 20th. Once you've gained 50 agility, venture over to the Colossal Worm, south of Civitas Illifortis, to help out Worm Tongue in order to rid this boast-worthy landmark of its termite problem. This agility course will see you exploring the caves underneath the skeleton, gathering up those pesky termites after meeting Worm Tongue to explain how the course works, and once he provides you with an empty jar to collect your critters. Catch the termites and then trade them in for rewards at Worm Tongue's store, namely bone shards, a stackable item used in prayer training, basic teleport crystals, allows you to teleport out of the agility dungeon and back to your agility guide once. Advanced teleport crystal allows you to teleport out of the agility dungeon and back to your agility guide multiple times. And a graceful sewing kit can be used to recolor your item of the graceful kit to the Valamore graceful kit. This course will also offer a way to get amylase crystals. By grinding down the termites with a pestle and mortar, you can change them into bug jelly, which can be traded in along with some GP for amylase crystals. Alternatively, you can opt to rescue the termites and gift them to the Hunter Guild in exchange for Hunter XP. Bone Shard Mining. Requiring 41 mining, the new method will be low intensity, a bit like a combination of Camdazol mining and Tears of Guthix. With the veins, you'll be able to mine bone shards, which, as we previously mentioned, are items used across Varlamore for worship and a stackable resource. Every so often, waterfalls will run down one of the veins, and mining those veins increases the success rate by 15%. Occasionally, players will receive calcified deposits. These can be smashed with a hammer at an anvil for either a stack of bone shards or a chance to receive a one-time use tradable Cam Torum teleport. You'll also be able to take the bone shards to your next activity in exchange for prayer XP. Offerings to Ralos. Prayer. You'll need a minimum of 30 prayer to participate in this worship, but it offers a very simple gameplay loop. Bring bones, bless bones, chip into shards, offer to Ralos. The only thing you'll need to bring other than bones is a jug of wine, which will be used to fill the libation pool for a successful offering. Bone shards can be crafted from most existing bones, and each shard, no matter what bone they are from, will give the same amount of experience when offered. The tier of bone determines the amount of bone shards you will receive, with higher being better, and some bones also offer a chance for bonus shards. Wine can be used for up to 1,000 shards, and you'll be able to use Sunfire Splinters found at the Fortis Colosseum to change your wine into libation wine, which results in a little bit more experience for each bone shard offered. However, it also reduces your maximum shards. We're thinking currently between 500 to 750. We'll also be offering a way to unnote your bones so that you won't have to spend loads of time going to and from a bank and can instead commit to uninterrupted worship. Amen. Last but not least, pickpocketing, breaking and entering, thieving. One of the main draws of training thieving in Varlamore is due to the wealthy citizens that live there. Visit the bazaar. As long as you have 50 thieving, you can pickpocket the citizens there, but this has a high failure rate under normal conditions. Every so often, a nearby street urchin will try and distract a wealthy citizen, and this will provide a 100% success chance for a short period, and will also let you auto-pickpocket for the duration. Ooh. Pickpocketing these citizens will give coin pouches with a chance to get a key, but what are they used for? Also, once you've reached 50 thieving, you'll be able to chat with a suspicious character lurking outside of the homes of some of the Civitas Illafortis' most affluential individuals. You'll be requested to steal from these houses and will need to head inside with the keys you've stolen from the wealthy citizens and take the valuables before the owners return. Once inside, you'll search nearby cupboards and wardrobes and gather valuables, which can be turned in for coins. Be careful though, as being in the house when the owners return will mean you'll lose some of them. Talking of a bigger hit, at any one time, a single house in the district will be marked with a chalked symbol. This indicates a high value target. These will be different for each player, so keep an eye out for your unique opportunity. The high value household will have a chance for double loot drops, and you might even find an ivory figurine. You can take the ivory figurines to the Hunters Guild for a reward pack, or chip them into bone shards for use at Ralos' Rise. So that was the Varlamore post. The next one we will read is Defender of Varrock, which should not be as long. Yeah, no. Defender of Varrock. Long ago. Alright, this is a spoiler? Long ago, one man wielding a magic shield stood against the undead armies of the Majorat. His name was Arav, and he was strong and noble, but the fates had spoken. His downfall at the hands of the evil necromancer Zemorigal was inevitable. In one last desperate act to save his people, Arav flung the shield towards the town now known as Varrock, protecting it from further harm. In that very moment, Zemorigal struck him down. Standing over the fatally wounded hero, Zemorigal made a promise. When I return, you shall lead my armies. You shall be my greatest champion, and suffer under the knowledge that while you had hoped to save your people, you will instead be their doom. Now there is fear in the air, Whispers of the dead rising. Could this be the time of the prophesized return? It's time to take up the call and investigate as we revisit Defender of Varrock. We will be continuing the Majorat story with this classic quest, backported from the 2008 original with a little old school flourish. While much of the quest will remain the same as you remember, there will be a few new additions to bring it up to modern old school standards. We don't want to give too much away, but whether you remember the original or are stepping into it for the first time, get ready to meet new NPCs, face similar foes, and encounter a more challenging zombie type. Oh, and if you remember the original quest and are sweating at the thought of a trip to the wilderness, worry no longer. You will now begin the quest at the Jolly Boar Inn in Varrock, so you won't need to brave the terrors of the wildy at all. You will encounter a new, higher level zombie type during this quest, which you can continue fighting once the quest is over. Like in the original, the base where you encounter them is multi-combat, and the zombies are really packed in there, giving you the chance to unleash some very satisfying multi-target attacks. The armored zombies will also have the chance of dropping a new rare weapon, the zombie axe. As players level up, most find themselves using a dragon scimitar once they reach 60 attack, before moving on to a whip once they reach 70. We want the zombie axe to fill the gap in between the two. Once it's unlocked, you'll want to likely use it over the scimitar in many situations, though the higher attack speed of the scimitar will mean it will still have plenty of uses. As a battle axe, it will be good for crushing and slash attacks, but it won't have a stab option. For extra insight, here are the stats we are proposing. And here's that page. Alright, the next one we will read is While Gothic Sleeps. One cold winter morning in 2008, escapers awoke to a brand new quest. It was a richly immersive, sprawling adventure featuring a thrilling cast of murderers, spies, and druids, plus the return of the rarely encountered Majorat. It would become one of the most iconic RuneScape quests of all time. Do you remember your first encounter with While Gothic Sleeps? We've since continued the Majorat storyline in Old School, with the likes of the recent Desert Treasure 2, and as you've just seen, the upcoming Defender of Varrock. But it's now time for us to return to one of the most requested stories from the original game, this time with an old school twist. While Gothic Sleeps will send you on a journey for one of the more powerful artifacts in existence. But can you stop a deadly Majorat from obtaining it first? This new quest will be a remake of the 2008 original. This means that backporting will be used as a starting point, but with enhancements to ensure it meets the standards of modern old school. A selection of new rewards will be added too, so that the experience matches existing Grandmaster quests, which when it comes to impact and longevity. We do want to stress that we're trying to start something new here, especially with the rewards. We're going to be sharing some initial ideas and what we want to work with you very, very closely to help refine them into something we all feel will work. Nothing said today is final, and we're super keen to start consultation right away. So let's start with the rewards. I'm not going to read this, I'm going to go straight to Tormented Demons. One of the most desirable rewards from the original quest was the chance to take on Tormented Demons. These mighty foes were so beloved because they might drop dragon claws, which are an incredible addition to anyone's arsenal. Now we already have the dragon claws in Old School. They can be acquired from the recently revamped Chambers of Xeric, and our own form of the Tormented Demons, the Demonic Gorillas. So while we're not trying to move too far away from the original While Gothic Sleeps, it does present a problem for us in terms of rewards. This is where you fine folks come in. We've come up with two possible solutions to this problem, and we'd like to hear your preferred option. Option A, Tormented Demons have two unique drops. The first is a brand new item, yet to be designed, and the second is Dragon Claws. To be kept in line with the OG, we could simply give them their iconic claws drop from the original release. This would mean, however, it would be removed from Chambers of Xeric. But we've seen plenty of discussion talking about how Chambers has too many rewards, and we've already removed the other dragon items and redistributed them, so why not here as well? However, if the claws were removed from Chambers and added to a single repeatable NPC, it goes without saying this would affect their rarity and price. To counter this, we would likely make them quite a bit rarer than they were in 2008, to have them retain their majority, if not all, of their value. While this will retain most of the nostalgia, we'll also give them a new unique so you have something extra to grind for. Option B. Tormented Demons will have a single unique drop. This is a brand new item. If you all feel like the ship has already been sailed on Dragon Claws, then we'd still look to add a brand new item to the demons, so they'd keep offering value after your completion of a Grandmaster quest. We'll be including an opinion question with the summit poll to get your direct feedback on which approach you'd like to see. We'd also like to know what unique you'd like to score from those dastardly demons too. Rites of Balance. Before we get into the new exciting proposal that is the Rites of Balance, do you remember the Ruinous Powers? These were the set of prayers originally proposed as a reward for Desert Treasure 2. Unfortunately, after multiple stages of refinement, we made the difficult choice not to move forward with them. However, we promised we would revisit the core ideas at a later date, and we received some amazing suggestions on how we could do this. One of these suggestions was Ninja Gamer 1337, popular suggestion for God alignment prayers. The Rites of Balance take inspiration from Ninja Pig's suggestion. These are just a concept at the moment, and we're presenting them to you now to discuss whether they would work as a possible reward. After completing the quest, you will have unlocked the Rites of Balance, and you'll be able to use them by praying at the ancient Cathixian temple. We'll also look to introduce ways of switching to these prayers through areas such as your own player-owned house altar. The rites are 4 additional prayers that will act as new late-game extras to the current prayer book, so you'll have access to everything else you already currently know and love. Just like in Ninja Pig's design, the intention is that the Rites of Balance would be our first set of God alignment prayers. In the future, we'd look to add further God alignments, though you'd only of course be able to access the one at a time. We're particularly keen to introduce the Zerosian God alignment as an additional reward from Desert Treasure 2. Over time, the system will hopefully grow to offer increased variety to prayer without falling into the same traps as the Ruinous Powers. We would of course need to figure out a suitable way to unlock them. However, if you like the idea in principle, we'll dive into more detail in the future. For now though, please keep God alignments in mind while thinking about the Rites of Balance, as there is plenty of room for expansion. All sounds pretty exciting, doesn't it? There's plenty of room to develop these ideas too, as we are very much at the beginning of consultation, so please let us know what you think. While Gothic Sleeps is such a classic quest, with your help, we can reshape it into another timeless, old-school adventure. And finally, the Sailing Winter Summit update. This is a long one. I'm not going to read the official client API thing. I'll just read about it when it comes out. And I'm not going to read the Wilderness Hotspot thing because I don't really care. So sailing is the last one. Anchors are away on the development of sailing, old school RuneScape's first new skill. In our Winter Summit update, we're showing off our progress so far, giving you a glimpse of what awaits as we sail on to 2024. Sailing is an open world utility skill that introduces a whole new area in old school RuneScape, the ocean. It's the Gielinor you know and love, except you'll be able to interact with it in a brand new way. As you progress, you'll become captain of your very own ship, explore new lands, new islands filled with exciting activities, and command a crew of loyal NPCs. You can customize and upgrade your ship and fill it with useful facilities. Eventually, you'll be able to explore the deepest and dangerous parts of the ocean, and that's just the beginning. In our result summary blog, we made a commitment to collaborate with everyone, including those who voted against the skill, to make sailing the best it can be. A new skill isn't just a single content release, it's an intricate network of new systems, offering endless opportunities for enjoyment long after launch. Sailing has always been a community-driven project, and we want to keep it that way. This incredible journey would not have been possible without your support. Behind the scenes, we've been discussing timelines, resources, and various other factors that impact development. A project of this scale involves many considerations around staffing, community wants and needs, alpha and beta testing, and more. Although we plan to keep the community involved at every stage, we're also trying to figure out which parts of the skill, if any, should remain shrouded in mystery until launch day. Today we have something very exciting to show you, our development roadmap. On the below diagram, we've included several milestones so that you can see what we'll be working on. Please note that the dates have not been provided as they are open to change, but this should provide a baseline expectation of what to expect in which order. So now this picture, here we go. It says, I'll move my camera down here for a second. It says Phase 1, Development Structure, Skill Cape, and Icon Competition. Phase 2, Customization and Crew System, Port Makeover and Island Content, Skill Cape and Icon Winner, Navigation Tech Blog, Player Designed Island Competition, and Navigation Tech Alpha. Phase 3, Secondary Activities Blog, Secondary Activities Rewards, Player Designed Island Winner, Sailing Customization and Crew Combat and Capsizing Beta. Phase 4, Sailing Beta Blog, Sailing Gameplay Open Beta, and Tertiary Activities Blog. So they're going to have a competition so someone can make the icon. That's really cool. Open betas play a crucial role in our development process, allowing players like you to get hands-on experience of the content and give us even more valuable feedback. We're thrilled to reveal that you'll have multiple opportunities to playtest Sailing in 2024. We're not able to provide dates just yet, as these beta tests will be highly dependent on our engine updates and internal acceptance criteria. The first Tech Alpha will launch as soon as our engine can handle it, and will focus on refining the navigation experience. We want to ensure players are comfortable and engaged while maneuvering around the sea. If development goes well, we may also have some early game content for players to try too. Our first open beta will take place a little further along in development. The beta will address ship customization, crew management, capsizing, and ship combat, offering a comprehensive preview of all 4 features. The second open beta is currently planned as a sailing demo, offering all of the above as well as new gameplay mechanics, secondary gameplay, and some islands and points of interest to explore. This beta will take place very close to launch and will heavily influence our launch day expectations. Your participation in these betas is absolutely invaluable. Keep an eye out for more information about exact dates. We won't be announcing any until we are 100% confident they are ready to proceed. To do so, all 3 public playtests must pass our internal acceptance criteria, which includes feedback from invite-only playtests. As a result, we are staying flexible. On that note, we're not ruling out additional betas if they feel that they are required. As much of the work hasn't yet been developed, we have plenty of opportunities to amend our schedule if further playtests are needed. Sailing Development Milestones. As you can see on the roadmap above, Sailing has been split into 9 core milestones. With the exception of islands and points of interest, each milestone will be worked on in chronological order. At the moment, we're not certain how long each milestone will take. Optimistically, we're aiming for 1 to 2 months work on each, although some milestones will take more or less time depending on how much work they encompass. For example, the first milestone is the biggest by far, as it lays the groundwork for the rest of the skill. Excitingly, this means that the new skill Discord will have new topics to discuss at a regular cadence. This is great for the team as it means we can get focused feedback throughout development. Now that Sailing has passed lock-in, we're able to scale up development resources. 2 dev teams will now be responsible for Sailing. The Vanguard has already begun work on Milestone 1, core gameplay, navigation, designing the sea layout, boarding, moving, and using a ship. Later in development, the Vanguard will also be responsible for primary gameplay and secondary gameplay. I wonder what secondary gameplay means. Another group of developers will join the project in early 2024 and will start working on islands and points of interest. This includes islands and points of interest at sea, new training methods for existing skills, island content and resources, and quests. As many of these elements still require community consultation, they will be polled and discussed before development begins. Our recent Game Jam blog contained one of the primary ideas we've had in these areas, and we'd really like to hear which ones resonated with you the most, so please fill out the Game Jam survey if you haven't already. Each team will also deal with different forms of feedback. The Vanguard will initially focus on feedback from our playtests, whereas the island development team will probably have a larger focus on design feedback from blogs and polls. We'll keep you up to date with all of the latest news and blogs, videos, and discussion on the Discord channel. We also plan to create a master blog for sailing with links to all the latest information when we're a little further along with development. Community-led design. We'd like to reiterate, sailing simply wouldn't be possible without our community, so it's only right that we get you involved in shaping the content as much as we can. Excitingly, our roadmap already has a few opportunities for you to get stuck in. We'd be running several community contests to design the sailing skill icon and skill cape. To inspire you, check out the placeholder icon we'll be using on the interfaces during development. It's just an anchor. It looks kind of off though, because it looks newer. All of these look really old school, right? And this one looks like a new, maybe if they like made it look like an older anchor, an older style. Milestone 1 progress. Milestone 1 is focusing on the navigation and core mechanics. The work we've completed so far includes core infrastructure. There is now a sailing skill in the game that can be assigned XP. All interfaces such as the skill interfaces and lamps have been updated. All max cape functionality has been reworked to account for sailing's introduction. Sailing has a skill and guide and a level up message system. Ship infrastructure. Players can generate ships and own ships from a collection of presets. Players can board other players' ships. Ooh. Players who own the ship are considered the captain and automatically have navigator permissions. Players can assign another player the navigator role. Ooh. I thought it was just going to be a solo thing. Gameplay. Players can trim the sails of a ship to earn sailing XP. Players can experience different ship speeds based on various conditions at sea. Advanced tracking and user flow to allow players to more seamlessly board a light from a ship. I'm focusing on the GIF. Wow. Design. In-depth design for a primary gameplay such that it may be implemented. Designed a functional starting sea map. Created structure to allow content at sea to be designed. Designed the player journey from level 1 to 99. And designed ship customization systems, both functional and cosmetic. As you can see, we've made significant progress with the gargantuan tech work involved in getting navigation working. We can't underestimate how important this work is for the skill, so we're excited to get going. So this is, you get on the ship, and then you can navigate it with the, I don't know what this is called, the rudder? And then you move with your mouse. This is multiple people on the same boat. And this is, you can also see other players' ships. That is so cool. So thank you so much for watching us read up on what was discussed during the Winter Summit. I can't wait for all of this. Really excited the most for Varlamore. Sailing is really cool too, but I feel like that might not come out this year. I don't know. I hope so, but I still feel like they have a lot of work to do. But I'm still excited nonetheless. So let me know what you guys' favorite part about the Winter Summit was, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Good night, good night, good night, good night.